If you are struggling to build muscle as a skinny guy, then keep watching. This is my transformation right here. On the left, I was super skinny, no muscle. I was weighing between 115 and 120 pounds. I had nothing going on, super frail. And on the right, I built muscle. I got way stronger. I'm getting more respect, more attention from women, all of the good things that you always hear about. And I'm way over 140. I'm 145, 150 pounds fluctuating right now. But I look way better, and I did this in under a year and a half. And I did this through Simeon Panda's training method. This is what I tried. First off, this video is not for people that are under the age of 20. This is not for people that are not willing to put in consistent hard work and effort. This is not for people that lack genuine commitment to personal growth and development. This is not for people that are looking for quick fixes or shortcuts. None of that. This is not for people that are not serious about achieving their goals. You need to be serious about this. And this is not for people that are willing to follow instructions or stay disciplined. This is for the long run. And this is also, finally, not for people that are just exploring and watching videos without any real intent to improve. Basically, Simeon Panda's method is very high intensity, high rep sets during his workouts with cardio at the end. He has high intensity in mainly his compound lifts, so workouts that will work multiple muscles. I adopted the training style into a push-pull leg split. This is what I did for 3 days a week only. Right, it sounds crazy, but this is what I did. And I had my rep ranges between 10 and failure, meaning the minimum I did was 10. The most I did was just going to failure to where I couldn't do it anymore. While I was doing this, I was also training Muay Thai 4 to 5 days a week, which this was basically my high intensity cardio at the time, keeping me lean. Now, why did I choose this method? Basically, if you're anything like how I was, regular workouts didn't get me enough results. There was a time where I did multiple push-ups in a day. Maybe I did 200, 300, 400 push-ups in a day, but I stopped seeing growth. It worked for a little bit, but then it just stopped. And it took me 50, 60 push-ups to start feeling a little pump. This is when I realized that I need to stop doing all these squats and sit-ups and push-ups, and I needed to go to a gym and have a proper split that is way tougher. I kept that same intensity of high reps, but I just did it with heavier weight. And it got to a point where I needed a harder training style, more stimulus to activate more muscle fibers. The way it works is that your muscles will recruit more fibers when you need to lift a heavier weight. If you're constantly doing push-ups all day, every day, it gets to a point where your body gets used to it and adapts to that. You need your body to never adapt to the workouts that you're doing. And this is exactly how I came across Simeon's method. The high reps and the intensity, it sounded really hard, to be honest. It sounded super hard at first. But this is exactly what I needed as a skinny man to move on from the body weight work that I did all day, every day, while getting my body to the next level. For this exact workout split, the push-pull legs, I ran. It got me from 120 pounds, 115 on the left, to 145, 150 pounds on the right. Now, if you want this exact split, the exact specific split that I use to get the transformation you see on the screen, you're going to DM me PPL on Instagram. My Instagram will be in the description. For the difficulty, at first, like I said, it was pretty tough. It was very tough, actually, and I was sore for days. There was days where I couldn't straighten my arm out, and my body was just wrecked. But eventually, I started enjoying how tough it was. It felt good. I enjoyed pushing myself to my limits, and I felt fulfilled after each workout. It felt really good. It was a new sense of fulfillment for doing such a hard thing so consistently. And while I was following this training style, I was also very consistent. I was at the gym at the same days of the week, at the same time, all the time. Chris was in this gym at this time and this time, on this day, this and this day. This is how you need to be. Stop being wishy-washy with the days you go to the gym. Know that you go this day, and this day, at this time, and this time. Every time, consistently. And to keep me on track, I use Google Calendar. This is a cool little hack you can use right here. Go on Google Calendar, download it if you don't have it, or whatever calendar app you have, and set up the days. Set up on Tuesday, you have this. On Wednesday, you have this. Put the days you go to the gym and the times on there, so you just have that there to keep you on track and for you to know when to get work done. Now, for eating, This is also super, super important. I made sure I always had a breakfast, lunch, and dinner that took up the entire plate. Back when I was super skinny, the main issues I had was I ate one meal a day thinking that it was good enough when the truth is that's quite frankly not enough. You need to eat a lot more than one big meal a day. On top of this, I didn't eat breakfast. I used to skip breakfast every day. I had barely anything for lunch and a decent dinner. What I did, I filled up the entire plate. You need to have your plate to where no more food could get on it. That's how full, that's how packed it should be. Nothing else should be able to fit on that plate. And you want that plate to go from full to empty every single time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, full, empty, full, empty, full, empty for each one of them. Leave no crumbs. Eat all of your food. I also got really, really good sleep. I slept for at least 7 to 8 hours every day, no matter what. Being honest with you, some days I couldn't get enough sleep. Maybe I was out doing something, or maybe it was just a bad night and I could not sleep. But I made sure that majority of the time, I slept for at least 7 to 8 hours. The sleep is so important, and we take this so for granted. You can't think that if you're going to the gym and you're eating properly, that your body doesn't need to rest. Your body is a machine, but it also needs to refuel, needs to recharge. That's where the sleep comes in. Your body is repairing itself and actually building muscle while you sleep. Building muscle doesn't happen in the gym. It happens while you're asleep. It happens over time. If you're not getting enough sleep and if you're not eating enough food, it doesn't matter how much you lift, nothing is going to change. So all three of these need to be on point. I also had 3 alarms. One reminded me to go to sleep. One also rang when I should be in bed, so this is an hour after that one. I have an alarm for 9 p.m., 10:30 p.m., and I have an alarm for 5:30 right now in the morning. I always have these alarms set, and I don't have snooze on any of them. The problem with snooze is that you're allowing yourself a chance to sleep longer. If you remove snooze, you're basically telling yourself, I need to wake up when this rings. And if I turn it off, that's the last time I'm ever going to turn it off because I'm up now. When you have snooze and 50 alarms, you're giving yourself more chances to do whatever you want. And that defeats the whole purpose of the alarm. It should alarm you. It should kind of frighten you that you have to get up or go to sleep or do what you have to do when it rings. Now, for my results, I gained over 25 pounds. I gained lean muscle mass, of course. I reached an aesthetic physique. I was no longer the extremely skinny person that I used to be. I'm also significantly stronger. I could do one-arm push-ups, muscle-ups, all the cool stuff you see. But my lifts went from beginner to minimum intermediate based on strength level. Now, as far as some lessons that I've learned, number one, mind-muscle connection. There's so many different workouts out there, so many different splits. The most important thing is that you feel this mind-muscle connection in each workout. Some people, when they're doing overhead tricep extensions, they're not going to feel it. But if they do tricep pushdowns, they feel it more. It's different from person to person, so this is where you have to experiment and see which one do you really feel the most, with no pain, no discomfort, but you actually feel the muscle being worked. Next thing is time under tension. I learned that doing curls super fast is not really beneficial for me. I needed to literally feel the muscle stretch and elongate and contract through each rep. Super, super controlled. Not extremely slow, not super fast, but just controlled, spending time under the heavy weight. Number 3, this is super important, but progressive overload. You need to track your progressive overload. What this means is that you're not going to the gym and lifting weights and then next week you do the same thing and then next week you do the same thing. No, that is idiotic. Do not do this. I did this when I started going to the gym. I made no progress and I restarted back at 0. Track everything. You should have a Google Doc or an app or a notebook, pen and paper, something where you could see what day you went to the gym, what lift you did, how heavy it was, how many reps. Have it all written down. So the way it works is that, let's say this week you curled 35 pounds. Next week you go to the gym, you curl 37 and a half, or maybe even 40. That is how you get stronger and that's how you get bigger muscles. Then, if you want to overload a different way, you do the rep slower, or you do an extra rep. Just you want to kind of inch up on the difficulty over and over and over and over again. That is how you level up. Next, high reps can be beneficial for your muscle growth. What really matters is your intensity and effort. So there's a lot of different debates on what the best rep range is, a lot of different studies and all that. What I personally believe is that if you're putting a lot of effort and the intensity is high, you will build muscle no matter what it is. All right, just as long as you're not doing one rep, that's kind of not intelligent. But you should be doing multiple reps. Doesn't matter if it's 6, 8, 9, 12, 15. As long as you're pushing yourself to your limit through that, you're going to stimulate metabolic stress and your muscles are going to get bigger. Next, muscle growth can happen in a deficit. So for me, I couldn't hit the required calories every single day, and it was really hard. But I made sure that I had my protein dialed in. I had my shakes, I had my eggs, I had my chicken, I had my rice and chicken, broccoli, all that. I had that consistent enough to where even if I didn't hit the required amount of calories, my protein was always up. So I was always recovering and I was always ready to go and ready to build more and more and more and more muscle. So as long as your protein intake remains high, you're fine for the most part, but just make sure everything is in order. But other than all of these, the biggest lesson that I learned and took away from this is that if I can do it, so can you. This is me right here on the left and the right. I used to take meds to eat food. I used to be constantly sick, been to the hospital multiple different times, almost died of pneumonia, was in there with my mom while her birthday happened while I was in the hospital. It was terrible. I got made fun of, the typical, got every insult in the book. Nothing really matters anymore, right? And I had no clear goal or purpose in life. If this sounds anything like you, if you're a skinny guy that gets made fun of, if you're a skinny guy that doesn't get the treatment that you desire, that you know you want, I'm telling you this, all of it can change if you put the work in and you focus on the man that you want to become, the man that you are meant to be, because you are meant to be this man. The fact that this video showed up is a sign that you're meant to change who you are. Now, for my one-on-one, if you're interested in getting personal guidance from me, one-on-one, to go from skinny and weak to aesthetic and actually fulfilled in your life, while being in a group of other skinny men just like you with the same goal, which is the aesthetic physique, then click the link in the description and I'll speak to you soon. Anyways, that's the video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have a question or anything, and I'll catch you on the next one.